Caesar, the crowd pleaser. If you need to pick me up, ladies, we gon' change your demeanor. Caesar, the crowd pleaser. We gon' do a little dance, we gon' make the naysayers believe us. Hey girl, had a long day, you tired from work? Throw me some dollars and I'll remove my shirt. You can touch me too, these are the perks. Free yourself, lose your mind and go berserk, and go berserk, and go berserk, and go berserk.
Make way for the bad guy!
What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crowd Pleaser, the podcast that brings you the inside scoop on what it takes to be a male entertainer in today's age. I'm your host, Caesar the Crowd Pleaser, and this is going to be episode 53, where I'm going to be bringing on a good friend of mine. You've had him on the show before plenty of times, and we're going to talk about different club environments. But first things first, I want to go ahead and mention the Patreon, patreon.com/crowdpleaser. This is where if you want to give something back to the show, hey, you can monetarily. It's really appreciated. Helps me keep putting on all the great content that I'm doing. By all means, it is not required. You totally don't have to. The show will always be free. But if you want to throw a couple bucks my way, hey, I am really thankful for it. And you get cool behind the scenes footage and stuff like that, like my new birthday act that I'm coming up with as we speak, that the creative process is going to be on there and stuff like that. Every week, I also like to give a good shout out to one of my current patrons. This week, it's going to be Amy Guthrie. You rock. Thank you so much for your contributions. It is greatly appreciated. Next up is LaBare Dallas. This is my home office where I operate at 5 nights a week, Wednesday to Sunday, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. If you are in the Metroplex, come check it out. The show is fantastic. We cater to all kinds of female events, divorce parties, promotions, bachelorette parties, birthday parties, you name it. We're the spot. Or heck, if you just need a night out and want to relax and have some fun, great place to go. All right, so let me bring on my co-host this week. Like I said, he's been on the show plenty of times. He is a fan favorite. This dude is an absolute creative mastermind, dropping his own album that he has published and edited himself, as well as getting ready to start touring locally. I want to welcome back on the show, Mandingo Jones. What's up, brother?
No, I wouldn't say mastermind. What's up, y'all? How y'all? What's up? What's up, Caesar? What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much, brother. Just taking a little bit of time of my mental health day to get this podcast done. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to do it.
No problem, man. I'm always available if you need me.
Sweet. Well, like I said, now that you're in town, which is part of our topic, maybe we can make it more of a regular thing.
Oh, yeah.
Get you on my show co-hosting full-time, which is something I haven't had for quite some time now. So it'd be nice. I'm sure the audience will appreciate that.
For sure. I'm down.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. So recently, I'll let you take the reins on this, but you have shifted gears and become a quasi full-time resident here at LaBare Dallas now, formerly working at Hard Body San Antonio. So for our new listeners, ones that haven't been catching up and know what's going on with you, why don't you go ahead and break down in your own words, whatever you want to, as to why you made the change to move to LaBare Dallas full-time.
Well, I visited LaBare Dallas quite a few times in the last 6 years. Enough for me to know that, or enough for me to, at the time when I was considering leaving, that would be very high on the list of places that I would go full time. And there aren't many places that I commit to like that. I felt out the club for a while. I like what the owner is doing, like as far as his passion for his club. So that is one of the biggest reasons why it wasn't easy, but it was one of the biggest reasons why I was able to zone in on LaBare Dallas and put a lot more of my effort into being there more. The owner is most known as Alex, and a lot of the guys there. So as far as leaving my environment in itself, it changed, and it wasn't something that I was willing to stick with. It's just that simple. I just was not willing to stay there. I stayed there for quite a few months after, tried to help organize things, was running the dancers for a little bit, and it just wasn't for me anymore. So I while being simultaneously being relieved of my position as a dance manager at what is now known as the gallery. I was also planning um, my during those visits. I was planning my my permanent. I was gonna say residency, my permanent employment over there at LaBare Dallas. So basically, things changed. I didn't like it, and I enjoyed the environment there and the potential there that y'all have at y'all's club, which is now also my club.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, shoot, that covers a couple of questions I had lined up for you. So let me move on then.
Well,
When do
I'll
you?
gladly go into further detail if you want me to. Is there anything you need more detail on?
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll go through it. It's not a big deal. We'll go with the flow, man. You know how it goes. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
So let's start. I try to kind of keep in chronological order, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, wherever it goes, it goes.
Right.
Fans typically like some of my structure, and sometimes they like when we just kind of play by seam of our pants. So with that being said, do you think working multiple events, coming out for special events like strip offs and birthdays and stuff like that, kind of helped with the transition process? Like, granted, I know you're still in the transition process. You've been working up here about maybe a month to 5 weeks now, but
Mm.
yeah, do you think kind of seeing how we operate, even if it is just for special events, which isn't your typical night, kind of helped transition over, or not really?
Definitely because I saw y'all in a high stress situation. And that is one of the situations that a lot of people aren't allowed to see when they're being recruited, so to say. So seeing a high stress situation and seeing a high stress situation multiple times. Now, granted, I didn't see many of the rehearsals up to that, but the actual performance night, the high stress situation that is a strip off that, while no matter how many times you've done it, it's still a high stress situation. No matter how nonchalant about it you are, no matter how relaxed you are, even if you're one of the guys who, and everybody's done this before, I'm not going to try too hard this time. Still a high stress situation because you're starting early, you're sticking to a strict schedule. Typically, your sets are shorter. The owner of the club is typically walking around, seeing everything at every point in time and making sure that he has his hand in everything to make sure more than usual because he wants to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So it is definitely one of the situations I would have liked to see multiple times before deciding I wanted to be there. And I did see that. That was one of the larger determining factors as well. Besides the ownership was the fact that y'all's high stress situations always, for the most part, turned out profitable for everyone and well organized. I enjoy seeing events like that pulled off the way that y'all pulled them off there as well. You know what I'm saying? So
I
working
mean,
those
I
events,
don't know if I could say we're the most organized. I mean, being behind the scenes, I've seen some pretty like winging it kind of strip off sometimes. Especially, I mean, it is the nature of the beast when you get guys, so many guys coming in from out of town. We have limited locker space. Time frames are rushing because we really don't know who's going to spend longer on stage, who isn't. Guys are trying to adjust their routines to the stage. It
mhm,
gets pretty hectic.
right? Well, the last few events, there's no well, okay, as far as adjusting in my mind, when it comes to adjusting to a stage, there is no act that can't be adjusted to a stage for the most part, in my mind.
Hmm.
So, y'all were always also very helpful in that. Y'all would be like, "Oh, do you guys need the stage? Do you guys need a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes?" Assuming everyone got there on time or early, you know. So y'all would give us the time of day to make sure our acts were crisp and all. So working some of these events, like I said earlier, while I mean, and no event is gonna, no event just goes smoothly all the way around. There's always something where you're like, oh, we gotta fix this. It's just like you said, the nature of the beast. That's just how it works, you
Hmm.
know. But y'all handle it pretty well. I didn't see it. I've been to multiple other clubs, so seeing some clubs a mistake like that makes it really hard to continue to have an event smoothly after the rough patch. After the rough patch, it's all downhill. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
While after the rough patch there, it's like, boom, we're back on track. You know what I'm saying? If there's even a rough patch.
So you kind of lightly touched on, let's dive into that a little bit. So you are actually no stranger to working semi full time at other clubs, or taking residency up there, so to speak. Because I know when you went to Miami, you stayed there for an extended period of time. You've worked Houston a couple of times. So how was that? Like, did that kind of make it to where it was a little easier for you to adapt to other clubs, or kind of get a vibe for each club and things like that? Because obviously every club has its own vibe, correct?
Definitely. Most definitely. No
And
doubt.
and
Go ahead.
like, were there pros and cons to each club, or was it one of those things where you kind of slowly started to give your pick order? Where, all right, this is the club I really want to work at. This is the next best club, et cetera, et cetera.
No, there's definitely pros and cons to each club. And the thing is, well, the clubs that I've worked the most outside of my own were y'all's in Houston. And as far as Miami and Fort Lauderdale, well, I don't really see any. I can't. I haven't been there enough to see real cons. Cons typically aren't what is at the forefront of the visit. You have to be there a little bit longer to see the cons there. And I've been there for like a week at a time when I work, and I've only done that 2 or 3 at the most. But I have been to their events and visited their events. Their events are also well organized, and you know what I'm saying. Um, there are a couple of occasional um, switcheroos with the. I guess that would be the biggest con. There would be there's always a weird switcheroo in the list whenever you've already started the list. That's pretty much the only con I
Yeah.
have that I can think of, is that I'll be like, okay, we're gonna do this, and all of a sudden it's like, nah, this person's going up, and it's like, well, we drew numbers for a reason, but okay, I guess not. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
that little switcheroo is the only thing I would say that bothers me. But the clubs are great. Ownership is absolutely tremendous, remarkable ownership. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have any actual issues with the club. I honestly only have positive things to say. The Houston club, there's a lot of potential there that just isn't being reached, but there's potential there, a lot of it. Um, Working in Houston brought me closer to my family because that's where I was born. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spent most of my life there, and then I ended up in Central Texas. But Houston has a lot of potential. The guys at the club, I like the guys at that club. I like the guys at all of the clubs, including my club as well, even before. But as I say, you don't know cons when you're not there longer. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
The clubs are ran differently. There's a different level of when it comes to time constraint there in Houston. It's a lot more lackadaisical with guys coming in, and that could sometimes affect the show. That's one thing I wasn't very happy about, but it's not my club, and I can't walk into another place and try to direct things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
100%.
and
Like, you're the guest, so you kind of accommodate. They accommodate you, obviously, being out of towner, but at the same time, like, you're in somebody else's house, so you gotta abide by their rules, type thing.
yeah, and it's not that they don't treat me well when I go. There's the guys absolutely, the guys and the owner, they treat me very well when I go. I'm always welcome. I'm always invited. It's like, this is your home, is where you're born. So when you come by, just come on by. And if you, just like y'all, if you need anything, if you forgot something, or you're on the road and they have something you can use, they'll let you borrow it. Like, the guys are great. You know what I'm saying? There's just there's a few things that could make the club a little bit more. Um, it could bring the club a little bit more to the forefront of the entertainment part of the city of Houston. There's so much potential in the city of Houston,
Hmm.
and it's not being capitalized on. So, there's, I mean, there's just a few discrepancies, but nothing major. It's just, in my mind, the y'all's club in Dallas has the greatest chance for my success as a dancer.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I have
Yes.
love for all of those clubs, and I'm going to visit all those clubs again and work for a week or so at a time whenever I'm in town. But as far as being a full-time worker, Dallas LaBare has the best chance. So I have the best chance at Dallas LaBare. Let me put it like that.
Got you. Yeah, well put. And that's perfect segue, man. And it's almost as if you had the show notes in front of you. So with that, uh, what makes Dallas stand out?
Man, the vibe, the energy is completely different. The energy of the women there are completely different. And I'm not sure if that's because of the way the dancers are there, or the way the management of the club is, or just the city, the city itself. It's completely, the vibe is just, it's almost like a 180. But then again, I learned to entertain in San Antonio, and I came to Dallas as a rookie. I wasn't happy the first couple times I came to Dallas because I wasn't making anything, but I didn't really know how to entertain like I do now. So
Yeah.
it took a little bit of growing up as a man, as an entertainer, to realize that I wasn't ready to judge a place based off of how much I'm making when I wasn't entertaining anywhere close to how I am now. So the vibe in Dallas, just as you know, like every once in a while when I'm in the back in the locker room with y'all and I'm talking, and I'm just like, man, I'm really happy that I'm here. I know you hear me say that quite a bit, but part of that has to do majority with how different it is there. It's nothing against the actual San Antonio club when I say this, but the women are just a lot different. I'm received differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's because I've been in San Antonio so long, and it's like, I'm recognized as a part of something for a while. So the importance of something typically, and it's human nature, the importance of something typically isn't recognized until it leaves you. You know what I'm saying? So, but then you have me as a quote unquote fresh face coming to Dallas. So there's a lot to kind of dig through to see why the vibe makes me feel that way specifically. But one of those things is the way the women receive me there. The demographic there receives me completely differently than they did in the many years that I was dancing in San Antonio. It's just it's
Really,
been that way.
can you go into that a little bit? Like what are like some of the similarities and differences?
The main difference is the type of women. First of all, San Antonio is a majority Latin city. Not to say that a guy with my look doesn't stand a chance there because it's Latin. There are a lot of Latin women who like my look, but there are many more different kinds of women that go to the club. It almost seems as only Latin, and on busy nights like Saturdays or Fridays, well, when it was the 5 day a week club. Let me speak on it as if it was still the 5 day a week club. As the 5 day a week club, Wednesday, Thursday, and majority of Friday, you pretty much have Latin women in there, which is cool. Couple of Caucasian women, not many black women came by. They would come from out of town, or they would be with some friends that came, like the week before or the month before, and just there were a lot of girls who didn't even know that there were men of my shade working at that club.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, even with promotion, there's people like, oh, I didn't know they were. Oh, there's a guy with. I didn't know. It's like, what do you mean you didn't know? I've been here at this point, just speaking, placing a random year. I've been here 4.5 years. Like, you should know about me by now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Very much. Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, like I've been here. I've been a constant here. So you take that and then you take me coming. And then there'll be, it'll be a little bit more diverse on Saturdays, and then Sundays will be back to same old, same old. So you have me coming from that and going to Dallas, where you have a huge, huge diverse group of people. You have even me just walking the streets, me just being out and about and just seeing what things look like. It reminds me of Houston on the level of diversity. But the thing is, the club reflect, like, people can say there's black women in the city of San Antonio. There are some Caucasian people in the city of San Antonio, a lot of Latin people, and I'm sure there's people from all different walks of life in San Antonio, but the club doesn't represent, like, the representation of those people will not be found at the club. In Dallas, all of the different demographics of people there go to y'all's club. Every last one of them. I have seen a rainbow of people on a Thursday. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
There's just a better chance for me there because there's so many different kinds of people, and all these different kinds of people like different kinds of men, and they don't even have to match up to their own culture for the men that they like. They like everyone, or they like a specific someone, but I might stand a better chance. No, scratch that. I definitely stand a better chance in y'all's demographic because there are so many options. Let me put it like that.
Yeah. Shoot, man. Well put. Yeah, I could see where that would definitely kind of break the mold, so to speak, and put you in a place where, like, hey, this is where I want to work, without a doubt.
For sure. There was, I think, on that other question, like I said, I appreciate Alex's enthusiasm in fixing what he views as mistakes. He's, I've had conversations with him here and there, and he's huge on accountability.
Yeah, very much so.
He's very much like, I need to do this or I need to do that. I can't expect y'all to do this if I ain't doing this. And it's like, that is okay. Yeah, cool. I'll be a part of that.
Yeah, it's
All
refreshing to say the least, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that was kind of a bit of a sore spot towards the end of your time at Hard Bodies, aka the gallery, where you felt like the ownership could have handled it a little bit better.
Yeah, everything was our fault.
So kind of, I'm
And
sure
I
it's a
spoke to
little
them.
refreshing.
I spoke to them about this directly. I've been like, I don't know what makes you think that it's okay to blame us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we actually did everything we could. We were rehearsing till 6 a.m. on multiple occasions. We were coming in on Tuesdays and rehearsing from freaking 3:34 till like midnight. We were posting all of these. We were posting our rehearsals. We were posting our costumes. We were posting our private time. There's absolutely no reason to blame us for anything. I refuse to hear. I'm extremely sensitive about what happened, because the minute I hear somebody blame any of the dancers for how things went down, they're immediately getting checked by me if I hear them. The other guys might not say nothing, but those were my guys, and those guys fought very hard to keep that club open for as long as they could. Magic Mike helped us both times. What didn't help us was our location. Hey, we couldn't help that. What didn't help us was the bars around us. Hey, we couldn't help that. But we could help our effort, and we did. We helped. We did everything we could. Juice will tell you. I will tell you. Suave will tell you. Anybody you come in contact with, CJ will tell you. We did our damnedest to make sure that we did everything to keep that club open, but everything was our fault. And I don't harbor anything against the owners. I actually love them to death and wish them the best in their new ventures as the gallery. And I still work the door whenever I'm in town in that area. And I'll gladly promote that club and do what I can to make sure people get in and realize, we're open to everyone now. And all of y'all can come in and have a good time. But when it comes down to when we were the male review, and that club was for us,
Mm-hmm.
there is absolutely no reason to put any kind of blame on us. We did everything we could. And as I'm saying, I will fight to the end to make sure that people understand we did our damnedest to make sure that that thing stayed open as long as it could. We put on our best shows. We made more shows. We were making shows like every single strip off. It was just all new shows. There was like, nah, you can't do an old show, and if you do, you better change a lot of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was all these events we were throwing on our own consistently. You know what I'm saying? XL was a huge part of that. XL was a ginormous part of that. XL was constantly sticking his neck out for us. He was constantly weaving together events that either brought girls in, or that brought dancers from out of town, that, you know, like, and you remember, you were part of that. You came to some of those. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's only so much I'm going to take when I hear somebody speaking ill who wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the dancers that I worked with over the last few years, they're some of the hardest working people I've ever met. You know, and even some of the people who might complain a little bit, some of the people who might not have a good reputation, we had some hard working dancers there. Some very hardworking dancers here who are now looking for homes, pretty much, as a dancer. You know what I'm saying? So the club transition over to y'all's club gave me a sense of purpose as a dancer more now. I lost that. I lost it. It was gone. I had absolutely no drive to work in San Antonio as a dancer anymore. None. But when I heard Alex speak in those meetings, that feeling disappeared completely, and it was rejuvenated for the Dallas club.
So you mentioned very heavily the guys that were working there and stuff. So let's touch on that a little bit. We've talked about the difference in women and the fans that kind of frequent the club and stuff like that. What is your kind of view and similarities and differences of the crew here in Dallas? And you're good. They don't listen to this podcast, so I think you're fine.
Anything I would say, I would tell them directly.
I know, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Well, my crew in San Antonio, excuse me, I had to burp. My crew in San Antonio, they didn't seem as shy to rehearse acts. They're a lot more like, yeah, we're going to rehearse all these. You know what I'm saying? We have to rehearse these.
For sure.
Like, a lot, like, our crew is very like, yo, we're messing up way too much on this part. This is easy. We shouldn't be messing this up. We need to rehearse this. Once again, XL was a huge factor in that. XL would be like, yo, if one of my acts was sloppy and I couldn't see because I was leading, he was like, yo, Dingo, check your left flank. It's not good right now. Who is it? Who is here right behind me directly to my left? Oh, all right. Well, why? What's going on? Like, we were very detailed in making sure our shows stayed crisp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like,
oh yeah, you guys put on a phenomenal show down there. Like, every guy that goes on stage is a production routine, pretty much.
And y'all see, the attitude's a little bit different when it comes to rehearsing. A lot of that energy came from Alex. We have to rehearse this. A lot of the energy came from like Alex. I could feel it coming from you. You didn't say anything, but you're definitely like, yeah. And you know, everyone is in agreement, but over there, if you're like, yo, we have some free time, let's rehearse, people are like, all right, let's go. But we kind of cultivated the culture to be that way after a few years. XL, me, Juice, we were all like, yo, we need to rehearse this. It looks terrible. It looks stupid, honestly. Like, we were very brutally honest with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the way you got to be on it. Just plain and simple, like you said, honestly.
Yeah. So,
The thing is you never know who's going to be on stage when someone comes up. So it's too easy to be
mhm,
like, hey, well, this guy's on point, this guy's on point. But that doesn't say that that's going to be the guy that's on stage when the girls are in the club or sitting in the audience. You know what I'm saying? And if you get
right.
the wrong show to go up on stage at the wrong order or whatever, they can easily leave thinking that the show is subpar, not realizing that it actually is above the bar. They just happen to see one of the less than great shows. But I mean, that's the reality of it. So everyone has to be on point every single time.
Yeah. And that's another thing. We're very, very much into being like, I don't care if you never do this act. You need to know it. That's exactly how we were about everything. When there's time, sometimes you're in crunch time and it's like, okay, and you, we have a strip off Sunday. It's only important that the main three guys know it right now. We'll deal with the other ones when all that dies down. Like we've done that before. And sometimes we'll go periods of time and nobody's perfect. Like, yes, we get sloppy, but what I'm saying is the difference in between is the level of commitment to rehearsing, not only for yourself, but for others. Like, yo, I need you for this act. I would do the same for you. So I need you here, this undisclosed location, on an off day, rehearsing. I promise if more people rehearsed on their off days, we wouldn't be doing the consistent rehearsals before work at Dallas LaBare
Mm-hmm.
because there would be no need. Alex would be like, oh, this is good. And there would be no need for any of that.
Well, we actually used to have a kind of like choreography boot camp where he would bring in the choreographer that made most of the routines, and for a week straight, we're pulling two-a-days. You know what I mean? So we would be coming in there at noon, dancing till 6, take an hour break before work, and then go back to the grind, and then work that night. So this is, I think, his is to be a little more accommodating to the dancers, I guess. We're just feeling like it's a good way to get more practice in. Because here, instead of getting a week's worth of training, like I'm sitting there choreographing or working with these guys, for an hour and a half every day of the week. So overall, in the long run, I feel like it generates a lot more time, you know?
The approach we have now.
I mean, it's hit or miss. I see pros and cons to both because obviously, when we were there for 6 hours at a time, I could show a whole routine
hmm
in one day, and then maybe
Right.
even get to the point where we're just polishing it up. Versus here, it's kind of like I've sectioned it off. But I mean, there's pros and cons to both of them. I think he's just trying to be a little accommodating to certain people. To be honest with you, I kind of preferred the boot camp because you drive a long way to come to work as well down in hard bodies. So it's kind of like when you already have a long drive into work, you prefer to minimize the amount of hard times you have to be there. But I mean,
hmm
such is life.
Such is. And it's not. I mean, I have no issues with how it's being done.
hmm
I'm happy it is being done.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure. It's always needed. Always. I mean, it doesn't matter how on point you think your show is. Everyone can always use a refresher. Always.
but I enjoy seeing the work ethic instilled in people with potential. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking on dancers that have, just started working there and are still kind of being pulled into y'all's culture. Like, yo, you need to be here at this time. Or,
hmm
yo, this is, you need to be doing this act too. Like, I've been in 6 acts straight and I have a dance to do. And if you had learned this, you would be doing this now. Because trust me, I have spent weeks on weeks on weeks of being that guy in an act that I don't need to be in because 5 other people know it. And only me and another guy know some of the other acts. So I don't have a choice but to be in that other act. But people are kind of shying away from being in acts. And this is just speaking generally, not necessarily at y'all's club. I'm just saying I've dealt with that.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? And I'm willing to learn. That's what I'm saying. I'm willing to learn every single act at that club.
You're not wrong. I mean, it's too easy, especially for established people, to get a little lazy and be like, "Oh, I'm going to make my money anyways. I don't necessarily need to help every single guy."
Yeah. But there's something about being on stage with those other primetime guys and you're all killing each other's act. It
I
just
agree.
it's a different view and a different feel. And I think if people viewed it as you winning anyway, even if you're helping someone else, it would make rehearsals go by a lot more fluidly. It'll be like, okay, let's do this. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Was that right? No, 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 no. Right here, right here. On 7, 8, you gotta. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Like it's like it's a certain style of learning that sometimes you have to teach. Some people have it already. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you have it already because you have a very disciplined background. Not everybody has the level of discipline. You know what I'm saying? I was in marching band, so that kind of rehearsal was instilled in my head already. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So some like, I guess let's get back to the original question. The way rehearsals and the way rehearsals of acts are handled is different from a lot of the guys that I've worked with. But you know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing for me to judge negatively. It just is what it is. You know, everybody's different. Everybody comes from different walks of life. And not everybody has figured out what it takes to be able to just remember things like fluidly. It takes a lot of focus. It's really not, it's not a game. Like, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes the energy is very playful, which isn't a bad thing all the time, but sometimes you just want to knock it out. You know what I'm saying? You just want to hatch it out. And that's how we are over there. We're like, yo, stop talking. He's talking and trying to teach something. Quit talking. Like, you know, that's how we are. Mm-hmm. And all of us made habits of checking each other, of being like, yo, 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 you can't hear. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we all knew it and we're all taking like a 30-second break joking around, that's different. But when you have somebody talking and then somebody else is like, you know, talking as well, then it makes things a lot harder for, it's just something small. It's just small things I've noticed. I think the demographic of the guys we had is different from y'all's. Y'all have, well, no, actually not really.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think both clubs had a pretty healthy kind of
actually
variety.
Y'all have a good variety.
That's one thing I think
I actually stop and think. I actually said that to you on side stage, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, y'all have a good variety of dudes. Y'all have different looking dudes, but y'all have a good variety of dudes.
Well, you have to. I mean, women aren't robots. They don't like cookie cutter every single guy. I mean, you got 16 guys and everyone looks exactly the same. They're going to get bored. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's got a different flavor.
This is true.
It's going to be somebody's night for every person in there is attractive to somebody. So having variety is just a strength of the club, not, you know, anything else. I mean, plain and simple, that's all it is. So, what are some of the adjustments you feel, if any at all, that you've had to make moving from one club to another?
Timing, getting there within right amount of time to be able to be comfortable by the time. I'm still not good at that. I'm always getting there like day of, right before y'all start the show. Mm-hmm. When it's the beginning of the week, I'm still always doing that, but I'm trying to be better about it. Like, I'm tried to get there earlier on so that I can get settled in or maybe do some rehearsals with some people or try to go and promote. Oh, that's another difference. Promotion. Y'all's promotion is different here. Well, y'all talk about it more collectively. Y'all are more into the collective of promoting. Y'all go places more and promote. That's one thing that I did notice. But promotions over there for this kind of thing are received far differently than they are in San Antonio.
Okay.
I've noticed that it's a little bit more liberal over there in D-Town. Mm-hmm. Dallas, San Antonio is a lot more like, oh my God, or not more like, get that out of my face, or, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot more, it's more restricted in the entertainment. There's no room for that unless one day they just feel like going. That's what's so crazy. It's like, oh, I'll go now. But it's like, it just baffles my mind. I've had many people come up to me while I'm working the door, and it's like, oh my God, what happened to Hard Bodies? It's like, you didn't go. What you mean?
Yeah.
That's what happened. You weren't here. Like it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
So
bills aren't gonna pay themselves, man. Everyone has to do their part. There's no doubt about
yeah, like
that.
like people want you available for them, but they don't want to contribute to your existence. It's weird how that works, huh?
Oh yeah, most definitely, brother man, most definitely. But I
Uh,
mean, it is what it is, for lack of a better term. You know, like it. Everyone always want everyone. What is it? Monday morning quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's like you always have all the right plays and know what to do after it's done, but it's those who make the actions ahead of time that really make the difference.
true. There it is, and there you have it.
Yep. So that being said, I think we've covered quite a bit of the different environment stuff. You're very articulate and stuff, and make it extremely easy on me to be a host. So, what are your goals in the future now that you are operating a new club with a new environment, where you kind of have a clean slate, so to speak, but at the same time, you're also um, way further down the experience tree, so to speak, than norm or path. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned earlier, when you first started traveling, you weren't the entertainer that you are now. So
Hmm.
you can only expect so much. But now you are the entertainer you are now. And you're essentially getting the start in a pseudo. I mean, granted, you've been here enough times where a lot of people know you, but somewhat in a new um, club as well. So what do you hope to accomplish? Do you have any goals set for yourself, or is it just kind of to get yourself accustomed to this new environment?
Well, getting accustomed is definitely one of my goals, but outside of that, after the dust is settled there, well, I plan to integrate myself to be one of the, to be a top entertainer. It ain't just about being a part of it. I want to entertain well. And in order to do that, I have to figure out the best ways to entertain it. I'm still figuring that out. I enjoy all stage. It's nice to be back on a stage again for a full set. But like I plan on, while also being more monetarily secure in Dallas, I also want to contribute to the best. I also want to contribute to the quality of the entertainers around me. If that includes helping them with their act, or just helping them with advice in general, or just anything that I can help them with. Like I like the guys there, and I really want them to reach their full potential as entertainers. That includes when it comes to dancing. Some guys will be like, "Oh, I can't dance," and it's like, well, no, it's not about dancing like someone else. It's about dancing that fits you the best. Comparing yourself to somebody else as a dancer doesn't, unless you're that type of dancer, it doesn't help you. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to help guys grow into who they are as entertainers, while also growing myself. And, my main goal outside of that is just, I wanted to be financially secure enough to fund myself as a businessman, as a musician. Like that's the end game. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
care about the most in my life. You know,
Yeah.
that's, and once that's rolling, it's, that's another thing we need to talk about, how that affects my presence at the club, actually. But
I mean, just to interject real quick, man, like just you being back there and the way you speak and your positivity and the way you view things makes a world of difference whether you know it or not. You do influence a lot of these guys, especially the newer guys and things like that, because it's always, I mean, you've been in the game long enough to know it's one thing to hear the same people saying the same things from your club, but when you hear someone different speaking a certain way, it really does something to like kind of make that impact. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And so, and on stage, man, you have nothing to worry about. You're already like you make other people work harder because you just put that kind of show on. So,
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. If I can help somebody else along this dancing journey, then I would love to do that. That's one thing I enjoyed about, you remember Christian?
mm-hmm.
It's one thing I enjoyed about Christian. He was always asking. A lot of times I realize I'm speaking when people aren't asking me and I need to chill. If they want to know something, they'll come ask me. But Christian was one of those people who'd be like, hey, how do I do this? Should I do it this way? What do you think about this? Sometimes it'll be borderline obsessive, But obsession and what you enjoy and what you love is what makes you really good at it, in a sense. Even better than really good. It was what makes you phenomenal. So, one thing, and I think we actually talked about this on Side Stage. It was like, look, man, if you're going to help somebody, it's kind of a selfish act sometimes because you get gratitude from helping someone.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah, I
makes
remember
me
that
happy.
conversation.
Yeah. We've had a lot of Side Stage conversations, but whenever somebody is benefiting because of an advice I gave them or benefiting because of something I showed them how to do or anything like that. And I don't know everything. I'm learning a lot myself. I learn every day. I learned more when I went there last time. And I know people who have less experience in this have things to teach me as well. Like I don't think that I know everything, but if there's anything that I do know that I can pass on to someone, then best believe I'm passing the torch or the baton or however you want to say it. Because there's a lot of times where I wish I had certain information and other times that and I could have been a better entertainer or a better communicator or just a better person. Somebody just gave this information to me earlier on in life.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have some information to give to somebody, I have some kind of energy to pass on, then I'm going to do it. You know, I enjoy doing that. And that's one of my main goals, like I said, outside of me being financially. I mean, everybody, who doesn't dance wanting to make more money? Like nobody wants to dance to not make money, and nobody wants to dance or as far as put as much effort into being a dancer,
Mm-hmm.
entertainer, performer. You know, you might love it, but you're spending this much time doing it, you expect something back. And I do want to make what I believe I'll make what I deserve in Dallas. I personally do believe that. So that's one of my goals is to never fall short of what I deserve. And that means if it's within my grasp to get it and to do it, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean if I have a bad night, I'm be like, oh, well, I'm mad about it. It happens. That's part of the beast. That's part of the beast. It's the nature of the beast, I guess is how you say it.
Yeah, this job is very like I feel like karma and hard work and the things you put into it are magnified 100-fold. If you put little to no effort, you're gonna get little to nothing back. Excuse me. You bust your butt and put forth your passion, and that's the universe is going to give you what you put into it. And I feel like
Right.
this job is one that really magnifies that. You know what I mean? And you can tell
No
tell
doubt.
in people's attitude. You can tell in the amount of money they make. You can tell about the way other people view them.
Definitely. You can definitely tell. It's crazy to see how effort will change the way you perform. Just look at Suave. I remember when Suave first started. He's made ridiculous strides as an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
Suave
great.
is phenomenal.
He's absolutely he's great. So, but I remember, like I've seen him when he first started and when he was figuring himself out, and I watched him. He was always giving effort, juice, effort, and look where he ended up as an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
Like to see people grow like that and see the effort they put in pay them back is just a beautiful thing. Because not everybody puts in the effort and they have the potential. Like people would say, oh, this guy has more potential, but he doesn't put in any of the effort.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see somebody put in the effort grow, it's just you can't. So for somebody who cares about that thing, you can't not smile. Like you have to smile about it. Like, wow, that's pretty awesome. You know, so that's man, am I rambling on too much?
No, you're good, man. You are good. I don't think anyone's gonna complain, bro. Promise.
Well, I think that some of the guys there might get tired of hearing me say a few things if I start to talk too much without them asking me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Hey, if that happens, you just walk over to the other side of the locker room when you go to talk. That's all. And there'll
Oh
be
yeah,
new
man.
news to those guys.
Oh yeah, man. I'm not. I understand. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't want to hear nothing from somebody. It just depends. It's whatever. But like I said, having a bad night there wouldn't deter me from understanding that there's something far greater with potential at y'all's club. For me at this point in time.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Like I said, it's absolutely great to have you. I think you're a great addition to the roster. I think both the guys as well as females that frequent the club are gonna like having you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Hopefully I'm there much, much, much more. At least that is the plan, and that is exactly why I plan to be there. I plan to be there twice this month. I really do. Twice as far as the week goes. So that would be 2 weeks out of this month.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that works out.
Cool, man. All right. Well, I think that is good on our main topic, bro. Like, you did great. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, shoot, more than I could have asked for. I thought maybe I would have to figure out how to drag things on or something like that if we blew through topics, but you killed it as usual. So, with
Guess
that,
I had a lot to say.
you are a very deep human being, if I could put like a plain old tag on it. There's a lot of thought and emotion that goes into all your actions and stuff like that. So it kind of bleeds over to everything you do. But that's also why you're a great entertainer and you're great with the music you create and stuff like that, because there's so much to you. It's not kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but you're not as shallow as most of things that are going on nowadays, you know?
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for noticing, dog.
Do what I can, man. We're a team. We're a team. All right, so let's move into the worst and best events of the week, man. Do you have a worst event ready, or do you need me to start it off to give you some time to think of something?
Well, I think mine is pretty easy.
All right,
I
cool.
don't
Take it
know.
away.
I don't know why, but I was a little sick the other day. I'm not sure if it was from me traveling and me settling back down or all of that, but man, I don't get sick very often anymore, and it just kind of threw me out of a loop. I've been trying to stay up later and do work. I could keep falling asleep. I have a headache. I'm like, you know what? I just need to rest. You know, you gotta listen to your body. If you don't listen to your body, you're gonna put yourself in an even worse position. But yeah, I just had to take a short hiatus from things. It bothered me. I still went to the gym, sweat it out, but like it caught me off guard. It did catch me off guard, and I'm better now. I'm fine now.
Yeah.
But a couple of days, it kind of threw me out of a productive loop. I got a little bit done. I still did a few things here. Still went to work here, and I couldn't stop the funds from rolling in. That's
Yeah.
no, I can't
If
do
we're not
that.
working, we're not getting paid. So I definitely feel you on that one. It makes it very hard pressed when you have your own schedule and you have no sick days, to take time off. It's the
Oh
last
yeah,
thing you want to do.
sure, for real. So, um, that's I would say that's the worst thing that I had to deal with this week.
Yeah. For me, it's a little humorous. Gosh, man, I apologize too. Maybe I should have gotten coffee instead of water. All right. So for me, it's actually I don't think it's that bad, but I think it's kind of humorous. Actually, it just is one of the things we deal with, and so I think it's weird enough where it's worth sharing. But so I finished doing my main stage prime time Saturday night. Everything works out great. We're totally good. Do my stuff, cool off, wipe myself off, spray some smell good, and then I go up on stage two. So I hop on stage two, and the girls there, ladies there, are liking me. So I'm doing my thing and dancing for them and stuff like this. And one of them is one of those that she just holds a stack of ones and keeps feeding them to me.
Oh man,
Oh, excuse me. And by feeding them, I mean she's putting them in my underwear. So she's not actually trying to like put them in her mouth and make me kiss her to take them and all that. That stuff's annoying, but it hasn't really happened that much to me because I just kind of yank it out their mouth or whatever. I don't bother telling them it's gross anymore because most of the time they really don't care. But and so she tips me like probably somewhere between $8 to $12, $13.
Hmm.
And, so then she's like, all right, well, I'm good. I'm going to sit down. Cool. No worries. I'm going to move on to her friend or whatever. And about a minute later, she like leans over and like goes to grope me. So I grab her hand real quick. 'Cause she's a little slightly intoxicated. I don't think she was drunk. I think she was buzzed. So
Yeah.
her reaction time is a little slow. So I grabbed it and she's like, hey, I was going to grab it. I was like, yeah, of course not. Sure you won't. And she was like, but like, so is that real? And I was just looking at her and I was like, no, it's full of money that you just put in there. Like, and she just looked at me like it wasn't. Yeah,
Oh, she
yeah,
was. Uh,
yeah. I
yeah.
was just like, I
Okay.
mean, don't get me wrong. Girls always ask questions about our junk all the time. Like, it's just the nature of the beast. But like, I mean,
Oh yeah.
obviously, it looked like I was wearing a diaper because she just finished putting. I had the money that was left over from main stage. That I don't always empty out my underwear, and then
Right.
everything she put in, and she wasn't like exactly putting it in there all nice and straight. She was just shoving it in there, so that takes up more space. So I thought it was humorous that she was just like not sure why it wasn't computing in size or whatever. I'm like, you literally just finished putting half the money that's in there in there. Like, of course it's not real. Like, you know what I mean? But I thought that was kind of humorous, like just the kind of randomness that pops up from time to time.
Yeah, that was super random.
Yeah, I
How she
completely.
just she just
Hey,
completely like was she doing it with her eyes closed and it's like she in a different. Yeah, I don't. She sure she was only buzzing?
man, who knows anymore, bro? Like,
Nobody knows.
I like to say I know, but the truth is, I don't.
She
Like,
doesn't know.
fair,
How
very fair point.
you know she doesn't know? Shoot.
The yeah, good point. Touche, touche.
Man,
The
funny.
yeah, no joke. All right, so moving right along. What's your best event of the week?
Well, I have been trying to get these lights and get. I've been trying to get the batteries for these lights. I finally caved and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna order on Amazon. So it sounds like it's a small victory, but I got both of my light sticks back up and running at full blast, and
Oh, right on, man. Hell yeah.
then I'm ready to perform them now. I just, I'm waiting until I come back there to perform. And I was excited about it. It was just the first thing that came to my head when you said one of the best things. And I was like, man, just turning them on, turning them on. Like, I know audience can't see it, but can you see this?
Yeah. Oh man, that looks great. Yeah, way better.
Like, yeah, man, this is,
Oh, dude, that's 20 times brighter than what it was.
yeah. And they gave me a value pack. So now, oh, hit the microphone. So now I have extra batteries for the next time it goes down.
Well, thank goodness for that.
And I know it doesn't sound like much, but man.
Oh, dude, trust me. Like when I had my robot routine, the lighting was such a thing for me. So I totally feel you, bro. 100%. Like constantly trying to replace the LED batteries and the finger light batteries and the mass batteries and just making sure like nothing pissed me off more than going on stage and seeing one of the three costumes like a little duller than the other one.
Oh
So
yeah, those
like
finger lights are just they're so fickle.
it would drive me up the wall. So I 100% understand what you got going on, bro. Trust me. Sweet, man. That's good. I bet everyone's going to be excited to see that when you come back to Dallas. We got to set up a flow video again.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yes, we do. I was thinking the lighting has to be a little bit more. Well, I guess the lighting was kind of okay, just maybe a tad bit darker.
I mean, it
Caden's
was,
appearance, Caden's appearance was dope too, where he slid through the.
yeah, yeah. Movie
That was
magic
dope.
right there, man. A little bit of timing. So, and that was impromptu too,
Yeah, that was just like, all right, it's Sunday, we're done with work, let's go do something.
for real. Oh
What's up with
shoot,
you? What you got for
my
us?
yeah. So my best event. It's actually another kind of humorous interaction, man. But like I don't know, these things like may always put me in a chipper mood. Like I think they're great. So this one, I'm on stage five, the one closest to the door, right? Sitting there
Yeah.
minding my own business, doing my thing, right? And this lady comes up to she just comes up to tip me, right? So I get down on a knee and start moving close to her, and she tells me, "Hey, back up." I'm like, "Okay, cool.
Go.
Yeah, no big deal." I'm like, "All right." So I kind of push myself back a little bit, nothing crazy. And she's like, "No, no, no, back up." I'm like, All right." So I back up and I go to interact with her, and she says, like, we have like maybe two sentences exchanged, and then she's like, "You need to back up." I was like, "Okay, like, I don't know
Okay.
why you're coming up to me. Like, I'm not gonna like jump you or anything." But at this point, I'm like not even within arm's reach of this woman, right? So I finished the conversation, talked to her a little bit. She asked me some questions. She ends up tipping me fairly well. So I guess she liked the answers I gave her because she ended up tipping me a $5 bill at the end of it. Like, she tipped me a couple ones and then gave me a $5 bill at the end of it.
Mhm.
So that was cool, no big deal. I had a good time. She had a good time. Like, some people have personal space issues, and I'm totally cool with that. No big deal. So
Right.
she goes back to her table. She ends up sitting at that VIP booth right next to stage five.
Hmm.
So everything's cool. About 2 minutes later, another patron of the club comes up to me. I know her, so she comes up to me, and I give her the normal treatment. I body roll on her and stuff. We talk for a little bit. We have a fun exchange. Life is grand. And then she goes back to, her table, and everything's fine. Well, the lady A, the one that came up and tipped me earlier, kept telling me to back up, has this look on her face. And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" Like, and she kind of tells me to come over. So I lean down, looking at stage, or the VIP, to talk to her. And she's like, "What was that?" And I was like, "What was what?" She's like, "Well, that girl." I'm like, I just body rolled on her. I gave her some dances. Why? What's up? And she's like, "Well, I didn't get that." And I'm like, "You."
How?
So I just literally looked her stone cold in the face and was like, "Sweetie, you told me to back up 3 different times. So there's no way you're gonna get that kind of treatment when I'm more than arm's length away from you, and you're telling me to back up." Like, I mean, if you're into some kind of weird, like, you know, cuddle with a struggle kind of fetish, like, that ain't gonna happen at the club. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just thought it was absolutely hilarious because then she, like, I'm not sure if it couldn't compute, or it just, I don't know. Her reaction was completely stoic and blank. Like, it wasn't like, "Oh, you're right," or like, "What the heck are you talking about?" or like, "I don't understand." It just didn't register at all with her.
Was
So
she
I was
drunk
like,
too?
"All right." That, yeah, clearly she was probably intoxicated beyond belief, I guess. Like, I mean, these are strangers, so who knows what their mannerisms and stuff is, but I took it up
That's
as a win because I just somehow flabbergasted her without even trying. It was by her own hand, you know what I'm saying?
that's insane. That's funny. Back
Yeah.
up. Wait. Y'all back up again. Wait a minute. You
Yeah.
didn't do that with me. Like, what do you mean? Talk about how?
How come you're not living up on me all the way from over there? You trying to do stupid human tricks? Like, what's going on here? You trying to play mind games with me?
Like,
Like,
if you
back
wanted to
up.
watch me dance from a distance, you could have just said that. But now you like, yo, you didn't even yada yada blase blase. Like,
Hmm.
okay, that's I don't think it's possible what you're asking for there.
Hey, man. Once again, like I say, such is life. It's another day, another dollar in the life of a stripper. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go. Here we are. The world is ours.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? All right, bro. Cool. Let's move on to the last section of the podcast, which is social media. So, how can people reach you?
Well, I'm primarily, well, actually, I use my Facebook as well, but you can find my dance page on my Facebook under Mandingo Jones. That's how you find my dance page. If you're looking for my music on Facebook, you can find it under Hene, Hene, and that is my Facebook like page for my music. I'm also on Twitter. Heaney Train is the handle, except the second E in that is a three. So that'll be HEN3 and then train as one word. And that's how you find me on Twitter. Once again, HEN3 train. And then to find me on Instagram, which is what I am on the most, is just Heaney Train, one word. So HENE and then train. So if you type in Heaney Train in the search bar for Twitter, you will find me there.
Sweet.
I also have a sorry, I forgot to mention this. I also have a YouTube channel that if you would love to subscribe to, hey, that would be awesome. I should be putting more music on there. That's also Heaney Train, HENETRAIN. Um, and I also have a SoundCloud, HENE hyphen train. So Heaney Train with a hyphen in the middle is how you will find me on SoundCloud. That should be all of my plugins right there.
Do you have a do you have any upcoming concerts that you're gonna have you want to plug in as well?
And I have not scheduled any live performances yet. I'm actually discussing those with a few people here and there.
Okay.
I was hoping for something by Southwest time, but I didn't actually get the opportunity to make that happen this year. Hopefully, possibly, maybe next year. But I have not scheduled. But if I do come across any performances, they will be immediately posted on my like page, on my dance page on Facebook, as well as my Twitter and my Instagram.
Sweet. So yeah, definitely follow him if you're not already. Stay up to date on all the things he's got going on. Mandingo is a phenomenal dude, constantly putting on great content. I follow him as well. So definitely check that out. As for me, you can follow me on Facebook, Cesar Collazo, COLLAZO, or catch me on Instagram and Twitter at Cesar LaBare7. Post all my stuff there, my fire performances, some of my cosplay, all the stuff for LaBare related, some aerial things. It's all on there. I am also starting another kind of endeavor, diving a little bit into my nerddom and showing off stuff. I will probably link that stuff later. Actually, the biggest one is Twitch. You can follow me on Twitch TV or twitch.tv/Jedi_EJ. And that's where, if you like watching me play video games and talking trash to other nerds and stuff like that, that's the place to do it at. So yeah, I figure might as well appeal to all the masses. We're all red on the inside, right? So
for sure.
Yeah, so definitely check it out. Last thing I want to plug in is my birthday, disco themed. So we're bringing back the 70s. Have a phenomenal routine that I'm in the middle of creating now, about halfway through it. So you definitely don't want to miss this out. It's happening February 23rd at LaBare Dallas. So reserve your table, reserve your seat. Yeah, we don't have tickets ahead of time or anything like that. So you're good on that. You can kind of wait to the last possible minute on that one. But I am having it Saturday, and there is a good chance the club will be packed. So you definitely don't want to miss out. Don't delay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Actually, if you're going to be on the show more often, we probably should consider you doing a more permanent sign off. So start keeping that in the back of your head, bro, because that might be a thing. Since you got that unbelievably soothing and irresistible voice going on.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. National Geographic. Dude, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to record you and then send it to National Geographic and be like, hey, if you guys have a documentary, this is the man that you need to bring on. Plain and simple.
Shoot, actually, I was considering at some point building a voice acting website, but there's a bigger. I'm telling you, remember my twin Damien? Damien Farrell?
Yeah.
He would be an amazing voice act. He's great for radio. It's ridiculous. His voice is just it always stays down here. Like I have to make my voice do that. His voice is always down here.
That is so true, actually. Now, as soon as you mention it, that is 100% true.
Yeah,
we have to figure out what he wants to be on the show for. Maybe we'll do a "Where Are They Now" episode or something like that.
Yeah, I would talk to him about it.
I was actually trying to get all the dads on the show. All the dudes that used to be grandpa or dads now that used to be dancers or whatever, and get them on the show. But it's been a little bit proved that they're even harder to get a hold of as dads as they were as strippers. But such is life.
Yeah, tell me about it. I know exactly who you're talking about.
All right, man. Well, let's call it a show here. Hope everyone's enjoyed the extra time. I mean, you and I always have great conversations. It's been a blast. So, yeah, you got any last words, man, before we sign off?
Man, thank you for having me. Everyone listening, thank y'all for listening. If you're going to be in Dallas, I will see y'all soon. Feel free to follow me and all those that I plugged in. Thank y'all for supporting his show. Caesar's a good friend of mine and a great entertainer. So I'm happy that y'all get to hear his thoughts and the thoughts of those that he brings on this show. So once again, appreciate y'all. And Caesar, of course, as always, thank you for having me.
Shoot, man, it's a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, we're definitely going to consider, now that you're in town, having you on the show full time. I think everyone will get a kick out of that. It'll make interviews when I interview somebody else a lot more interesting, I think, as well. So,
I don't know if I'm ready to be in the interview, in the other side of things, man. I'm used to being interviewed. I don't know if I'm ready to be the guy asking all the questions. Let's see how this goes.
questions? You got questions? We talk about practice.
Practice? We talking practice?
All right. See you guys later. Until next time, keep bringing the rain.
I am focused, I'm in my zone. You can binge watch like Game of Thrones. Reserve your judgments, don't throw no stones. Oohs and I scream as loud as you don't. Airplane mode on tablets and phones. Caesar's crowd pleasers is now on. Caesar, the crowd pleaser. If you need to pick me up, ladies, we gon' change your demeanor. Caesar, the crowd pleaser. We gon' do a little dance, we gon' make the naysayers believe us.